How is it possible that Mercedes, with a more limited regulation than ever, has once again created such a dominant qualifying mode that not even Lewis Hamilton can believe what he is seeing after China? Because what Hamilton himself has dropped is not just an improvement, it is something much darker. A hidden mode that appears right in Q2 that Ferrari cannot replicate, and that could be breaking the real balance of Formula One without anyone being able to stop it. And if this is true, the big question is inevitable. Is Mercedes playing within the rules, or is it simply one step ahead of everyone again? The key to everything we are seeing in China is not in a simple fast lap. It is in a revelation that completely changes the perception of the current balance in Formula One. Because when Lewis Hamilton talks about Mercedes, he does not do it as just any rival. He does it as someone who knows every corner of that team, every philosophy, every trick that in the past turned them into an almost invincible machine. And precisely for this reason, what he said after the classification cannot be ignored. Hamilton dropped that Mercedes has another mode, one that does not appear at all times, one that is not evident to the naked eye, but that is activated exactly when it matters most. It's not a coincidence, it's a calculated execution. In his own words, this change occurs from Q2 onwards, as if the car entered a completely different dimension just when the classification begins to be truly defined. This, in itself, is already shocking. But the true weight of his statements is in what it implies. Because Hamilton not only acknowledges the existence of that mode, but indirectly admits that Ferrari has nothing like it. And this is where a huge gap opens up. We are not talking about a small difference in performance, we are talking about a completely different concept of how to approach a qualifying lap. While some teams try to find balance between qualifying and the race, Mercedes has taken another path, one much more aggressive, much more specific. They have built a system that seems designed exclusively for a single perfect lap. And this begins to be understood when we analyze what is really happening under the car. What has been leaked after China points to an extremely precise combination, a power unit mode that works as an evolution of the old party mode, accompanied by an energy map optimized to release all the power in a single lap, and a car configured with low aerodynamic drag to maximize straight line speed. But it doesn't all end here. Because this system is not only powerful, it is intelligent. The energy is not released constantly, it is distributed at exact points in the circuit. Each activation of the boost seems to be calculated to the millimeter to squeeze out the acceleration without compromising the rest of the lap. It's such fine timing that it turns every attempt into something almost perfect. And that explains why the difference in classification is so brutal. We are talking about advantages that can reach half a second or even more in a single lap. In today's Formula One, that is not an improvement. It is outrageous. It's the difference between fighting for pole or being completely out of the game. However, there is one detail that changes everything, and that Hamilton also made clear. In the race, that advantage disappears. Suddenly, Mercedes is no longer untouchable. The difference is reduced to a few tenths, even less. And this reveals the real secret behind it all. That mode is not designed to last. It is a short-range weapon, extremely powerful, but limited. And this is where the story gets even more interesting. Because if Mercedes has been able to create this system within a regulation that supposedly limits these types of strategies, then they have not only found performance, they have found a void, an interpretation, a gray area where they are operating better than anyone else. And most disturbing of all is what Hamilton almost inadvertently hinted at. They may not even be using it to its fullest. That means that what we saw in China might not be the limit, but only a part of the true potential they hide. And if that is so, then we are not seeing Mercedes' ceiling. Now is where everything fits, and where what seemed like just an advantage in qualifying begins to reveal something much deeper, much more difficult for the rest of the grid to combat. Because if in the previous act we understood that Mercedes has a hidden mode, at this point we have to understand why it is so devastating, and why no one is being able to copy it. The secret isn't just in having more power, it's in how they use it. What Mercedes has developed is not simply an aggressive engine map, it is a system completely optimized for a single lap, where every element of the car works in perfect synchrony. The power unit, hybrid power deployment, and aerodynamics are aligned with a single goal: to squeeze maximum performance in the shortest possible time. And here comes the key concept that Hamilton practically left between the lines: boost management. While other teams use energy more progressively to maintain consistency, Mercedes does the opposite. The energy discharge is massive, concentrated at strategic points on the circuit. They don't try to be efficient throughout the entire lap. They try to be unstoppable during specific moments. This means that in key areas, long straights, slow corner exits, the car literally unleashes all its available power. It is as if for a few seconds the Mercedes were in another category. But of course, this has a price. This level of energetic aggressiveness leaves the car practically empty at the end of the lap. There is no margin, there is no reservation. Everything is designed for that one perfect attempt. And that explains why this mode cannot be used in racing, where you need balance, management, and consistency lap after lap. And this is where the difference becomes insurmountable for others. Because it is not enough to copy the idea, you have to replicate the precision. Mercedes not only discharges energy, it synchronizes it with millimeter accuracy. They activate boost at the exact point where it maximizes acceleration without breaking the flow of the lap, without compromising subsequent regeneration. It is an extremely complex technical choreography. And this is what is leaving teams like Ferrari behind. Because even though they may have similar power, they don't have that perfect synchronization. They don't have that fine control over when and how to release the energy. And in qualifying, that's everything. That's why we see such big differences on Saturday, and much smaller ones on Sunday. But there is another detail that makes all of this even more disturbing. The car itself is designed to enhance this system. Mercedes has found a very specific aerodynamic balance. Enough downforce to not lose performance in fast corners, but with a level of drag low enough to fly straight when they activate boost. That is, the car is designed to amplify that classification mode, not just to support it. And this brings us to the big conclusion of this act. Mercedes has not created just one engine mode. It has created a complete concept of perfect lap. A system where all energy, aerodynamics, timing is designed for a single objective: destroy the classification. And the most worrying thing for its rivals is this. Although they understand what is happening, they still don't know how to replicate it. And this is where it all gets really dangerous. Because what Mercedes has built not only gives them an advantage in qualifying, it gives them total control of the weekend. Because when you start at the front in today's Formula One, you not only gain position, you gain strategic power. And this is exactly what Hamilton has hinted at without saying it directly. If Mercedes can systematically secure pole or the first rows thanks to this stealth mode, they automatically condition the race. They force others to react, to take risks, to play outside their ideal zone. And that's where the real domino effect begins. Because even if the difference is reduced in race pace, it is already too late. Dirty air, degradation, tire management. Everything plays in favor of the car in front. And if that car is a Mercedes that has achieved its position thanks to a near-perfect lap, then the rest of the teams enter into an uphill battle from the first corner. And here the real fear appears. It's not just that Mercedes has a faster mode, it's that they have found a way to turn qualifying into the most powerful weapon in the championship. Because even if Ferrari, McLaren, or Red Bull have better long-run pace, they can't use it if they can't overtake. And overtaking in modern Formula One, even with DRS, remains extremely complicated when the rival does not make mistakes. And this brings us to the most disturbing point of all. Hamilton hinted that Mercedes might not be using its full potential. That means that what we saw in China could just be a contained version of this system. A measured, controlled version, perhaps even designed not to raise too many suspicions. If that's true, then the actual margin they have saved could be even higher. And this is where the story completely changes dimension. Because if Mercedes decides to unleash all that potential at key moments in the championship, they could create differences that are impossible to recover. Consecutive poles, race control, clean management, and a championship that is beginning to tilt without others understanding exactly how to stop it. And the hardest thing for his rivals is this. They cannot protest something that is not illegal. They cannot copy something they do not fully understand. And they can't attack something that only appears during a perfect lap. That makes this trick almost invisible, but devastating. And that is why what Hamilton has revealed is so important. Because he's not talking about a simple improvement. He's warning of a pattern. Something that, if not stopped in time, can mark a new era of dominance, silent, technical, but absolutely unstoppable. And in the end, it all comes down to a single idea. One that completely changes how we should look at what happened in China. Because what Hamilton has revealed is not simply that Mercedes is fast. It's that they have found a way to be fast when it matters most, in the only moment where the weekend is really decided, qualifying. It is not a perfect car in the race. It is not absolute dominance in all scenarios. But they don't need it. They have understood something that many have not yet fully assimilated. That in modern Formula One, getting ahead is everything. And to achieve this, they have built a system that does not seek to be constant. It seeks to be devastating at the exact moment. A hidden mode that appears, hits, and disappears. A weapon designed for a single turn, but with enough impact to condition everything that comes after. That's what's really scary. Because while others continue to search for balance, Mercedes has already chosen its path. They have opted to maximize Saturday and turn Sunday into a consequence. And the most worrying thing is not what we have already seen. It's what they haven't shown yet. Because if Hamilton is right and Mercedes still has a margin, then China was not a total exhibition, it was just a warning. A sign that something is changing again in Formula One. And the big question that remains in the air is inevitable. Are we seeing the quiet return of a new era of Mercedes dominance, before the rest even understand how to stop it? Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.